What if fixing your money has nothing to do with earning more and everything to do with one small habit you've been ignoring for years? Because being broke isn't just a number. It's a feeling you carry every single day, checking your balance before doing something small, thinking twice before ordering food, doing silent math in your head while walking through a store, saying, maybe next time, when you already know the answer. And slowly, you get used to it. That quiet limitation, that constant pressure sitting in the background of your life. You don't talk about it, you just adjust your decisions around it. And over time, it starts to feel normal. That's the dangerous part. Because once something feels normal, you stop trying to change it. And the worst part, no one really teaches you how to get out of it. They just say, save more, spend less, as if it's that simple. But when you're starting from zero, it doesn't feel simple. It feels frustrating because you've tried before. You've told yourself, this time I'll manage it better. Maybe you even started strong, but then life happened. An unexpected expense, a random situation, and everything went back to how it was. And each time that happens, you don't just lose money, you lose confidence. You start believing, maybe I'm just not good with money. And that belief is what actually keeps you stuck. Because the problem was never effort, it's the system you were trying to follow. A system built for people who already have control, not for someone trying to build it from nothing. And that's why nothing changes. Not because you don't want better, but because you were never given a starting point that actually works. Because money habits aren't built with logic, they're built with repetition. Small actions done again and again until they become automatic. So instead of trying to fix everything, you start with one thing. Every time money comes in, you move a fixed amount aside. Not a percentage, not something complicated, just something small enough that you won't avoid it. Because this isn't about saving big, it's about proving something to yourself. That you can keep money, even if it's just a little. You create a separate space for it, a clean start, something that begins at zero. And every time you get paid, you move that amount manually. You see it leave your main account, you see it land somewhere else. And in that small moment, something important happens. You're no longer just reacting with money, you're making a decision. At first, it feels almost pointless, too small to matter. You might even think, what difference is this going to make? But then something shifts. Because now you're no longer at zero, and that changes how you feel. 25 becomes 50, 50 becomes 100, and suddenly you're building something. Not fast, not perfectly, but consistently. And consistency is where everything starts to change. Because progress, even small progress, creates belief. And belief changes behavior. You start paying attention, you start protecting what you've built. You hesitate a little more before wasting money. You think a little differently, not out of fear, but out of awareness. And that's when the real shift happens. Not in your bank account, but in your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who can't save, and start seeing yourself as someone who does. And once that identity changes, everything else follows. You don't avoid money anymore. You face it, you understand it, you control it. And slowly, what started as something small turns into something real. Not overnight, but day by day. Because this was never about the amount, it was about control. And control creates confidence. The kind where an unexpected expense doesn't feel like a disaster anymore. Where your first reaction isn't panic, but a plan. Where money stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling manageable. That's the difference between having nothing and having even a little. So don't wait until you earn more. Don't wait for the perfect time, because it never comes. Start small. Start simple, and most importantly, start now. Because the moment you prove to yourself that you can save even a small amount, you stop feeling stuck and you start moving forward. And if something in this made you pause, don't scroll past it. Sit with it for a second. Because that feeling is awareness, and awareness is where change begins. If this gave you a new way to look at money, hit like so it reaches someone else who needs to hear it. And subscribe not just for more videos, but for the version of you that's slowly taking control. Because most people will hear this and go back to old patterns, but the few who act, they build something different. And over time, that difference becomes everything. I'll see you in the next one.